how's it going? Today marks day one of bulb planting for us here, which is later in the season, I think, than we've ever planted bulbs. But it's warm, it's beautiful, gorgeous day out here. We're gonna be doing this in shifts because we have so many bulbs. In the back of the Gator, there are 12,550 bulbs, which is an insane amount of bulbs, more than we've ever planted. And bulb planting for me is not the most fun of garden chores. It's a lot of work, but the payoff is tremendous. In the spring, when you see those things come up, it's worth every bit of the work that's already long past. We get the majority of our bulbs that we plant from color blends we have for several years, really happy with their quality and the quantities that you can get them in. And for us out here in the South Garden, quantities kind of make a difference because it's such a large area that you do have to plant in large drifts to make an impact. So our first bulb planting project is gonna be in the orchard. So right back in here, we've got the cut flower shed in progress. It should be done, I'm hoping, by the end of November. You can see it's all framed in. We've got our orchard trees in, and we've got a big bunch of bulbs that are shade tolerant, that will handle this space as the trees grow, and they will naturalize in this area to plant in here. Because I'm also going to be planting some fescue. It's a type of fescue that doesn't get super tall, but I want to achieve kind of a natural meadow feel around these trees. And 9,000 of these bulbs are actually going in the orchard. And I'm hoping, because they're all smaller bulbs, that the job might be a little easier. We're gonna approach it a bit differently as well. So what I have for this space, I got the woodland blend. I got 5,000 of those bulbs, and it's a mixture of the miniature daffodils, purple crocus, striped squill, blue squill, and winter aconite. So they're all very early bloomers. And then we're going to mix in some grape hyacinths, which are a mid-season, and then I've got a bunch of Spanish bluebells, which are a late bloomer. So we should have a really long season of color out here that I think is going to be gorgeous. Now, most of these bulbs need to be spaced anywhere between like 2 to 4 inches deep. So we're going to be moving these containers first. Aaron's actually behind the fence right here getting the tractor ready. We're gonna move the big black containers, and then we're gonna pull up all of the drip. That's how we watered the trees up to this point, so that all the space is clear here. And then Aaron's gonna bring the tiller in and till up big sections of the orchard so we can just throw the bulbs out and then just pop them down by hand in nice soft soil. We don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a try, because boy, if we can just make the top layer of soil nice and fluffy enough to pop the bulbs down, this job will actually be fairly quick. I think the prep might take us longer than the actual bulb planting. So once we get it all tilled, we'll be spreading some bulb tone in this area as well, or biotone starter fertilizer. I'll have to go see which one I have the most of. We'll spread that in the soil and then pop our bulbs in, make sure it's raked all smooth, and then this section will be done. Now, we still have to run a sprinkler system in here, but I did talk with Benny, who is our sprinkler guy, and he told me exactly where the trenches will be so I can avoid putting bulbs in those areas. So he's going to be doing a line right in between the trees here and right back kind of close to the fence, like maybe a foot out. He's gonna do it in a way to where we hopefully don't get those sprinkler lines on the fence, but there'll be a line here, so I'm gonna kind of try to avoid that. But you can see how we do need shade tolerant bulbs, and that's why these that we have chosen are so nice, because all of them can handle the shade here, and then they can also handle sun, but as these trees get bigger, they're gonna need to be able to handle the shade, so it should be a good mix. I can see in my head how this area is gonna look. I'm just hoping we can get it there. Here he comes. Oh, this is our other big project. That'll be next week, dahlia digging. I think what I'm gonna do is get started by pulling up all of the drip tubing. Okay, Aaron, how do you want to do this? Because I feel like I'm not going to be able to tip these.
I'll just come at an angle.
Okay.
Like sideways.
Okay.
A little bit. I don't know. I think it'll be fine.
Okay, well, you only have about a foot to push it. So if it starts pushing.
I think I can get underneath it.
Okay.
But just if you can help me with making sure these are.
Okay,
right.
so let's go over our instructions.
what are the
So
signs?
this right here.
This means to curl up.
Curl up.
Yeah. This means to come forward.
Okay.
But this is curl.
What does this mean? what is it? We're going to go ahead and move these containers right back to their first location, which was at the front of the cut flower garden. I might even plant them up a little bit pretty for the rest of this season. And then we are going to attempt to till this area. I don't know how it's going to go exactly. He's looking at me like, because it's a bit tight, but I do think even if we can get a few drifts, it should be easier than auging all those holes. All right, here we go. I think this is gonna work really well. You were able to get in there. And if there's any little spots, we can get the little mantis tiller in here. Yeah. Or use the 9-inch auger, honestly, and just aug a few holes and dump some bulbs in there.
Yeah.
We are gonna grab some metal tined rakes. Is that what they're called? Metal tined? I don't know. Metal rakes?
Yeah, tine rakes.
Anyway, we're gonna grab some of those and smooth out some of these areas that are a little bit like divots and things. You can see where the tires had been in a couple of areas, and then wherever the tiller lifts at the end, it always leaves this, but it's easy just to kind of knock that soil back in there. And then I'll go through with one of the tone fertilizers and just kind of spread it everywhere. And then I'm just gonna toss bulbs in and push them down in the soil, because look at this. Like, I can reach my hand way in there. That is so ideal. My goodness, the soil is kind of heavy. This is going a lot faster than we thought it was. I hope these next couple of steps are the same way. Got them all sitting out here. See, 9,000 bulbs doesn't look like an enormous amount. I mean, it's an enormous amount, but it doesn't look enormous because these are so small. That's why I feel like this planting project's actually gonna go fairly quickly, I'm hoping. So we've got the grape hyacinths here, and they're divided in half here because half is gonna go on this side and then halfway on the back side of the shed. And then the other side right here, this half, will go on the other side. I kind of wanted to spread them out evenly. And I did forget that I have snakeheads fritillaria. That's one I really wanted to add to the mix. This I have in another area of my garden, and I love them. They grow about a foot tall, and they're maroon and white kind of checked, and they have like these down-facing blooms. They're gorgeous, and they don't look like anything else that I'm planting in this area. So I think it's gonna be a really pretty addition, and these go 4 inches deep. So you can see that I did kind of feather the soil out, filled out the divots, and we'll do a better job of that once I'm done with all the bulbs. So I'll pop all the bulbs in, then we'll come in and do like a complete raking of the area and probably a fine layer of mulch over the whole thing. I did, and you can see on the top here, I spread a bunch of flower tone on top. And ordinarily I would use bulb tone, that's what I would recommend, or biotone, like I said in the beginning of this project, but we didn't have enough. We didn't have enough on hand for this project, but I had quite a bit of flower tone. It's similar enough that I'm just gonna use it. The plants will appreciate it and they will grow well. Are you out here to help me plant bulbs, bud?
No.
No?
Because I have to help Daddy.
What are you helping Daddy with?
The drone.
Oh, the drone.
We're gonna fly the drone.
Ah, technology wins. Those shoes probably wouldn't work out for bulb planting anyway, bud. day 2. Yesterday I was able to get half of them planted. Let me tell you what, being able to till this area up, that was a game changer. It took about an hour and a half to do roughly 4,500. I did save back a few bulbs to plant around the cut flower shed, so a little bit of each kind. So this right here is what I have held back. There's just like a couple bags of each one of the types that we're planting in here. That way, once all of the dirt piles are removed and the working area is kind of in a position where it won't be as disturbed, I can plant some there. I also will be tilling up just the little section with the little mantis tiller right in front of the tree here, and well, that tree will be kind of included in that section too, so I can kind of finish off this little section. But you really can't get more willy-nilly than this. So Benjamin and I just spread the rest of the bulbs over here. I have not planted them yet clearly, but I just wanted to show you a little bit closer up what it looks like. Basically just took handfuls and tossed them in. And it's pretty easy in terms of bulb planting. Let me show you a bunch of different kinds here. These are the grape hyacinths. You can see the growth point here. The roots come from the bottom. So you just take it, plant it. This one right here, same. The only ones that were a little bit like, okay, so we've got daffodil right here, and you can see the growth point again and the roots. Most of them have kind of this shape going on. The only ones that are a little different, the Spanish bluebells. So see, this one's kind of a little bit more nondescript, but you can tell like this is the root side here, and there's a little bit of an opening you can kind of see on the top there. So the top faces up, goes down like that. And then the other one are the crocus right here. And again, if you look, hopefully you guys can see with this camera, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get a close-up, but you can see the root end is a little bit more flat, and there is a little bit of a growth tip right on the top there. These don't have to go very deep at all. So I mean, basically it's just pop, pop, pop so fast. And that's how we were able to get this many bulbs planted so quickly without help. When I initially made this order, I thought, oh boy, I'm gonna have to gather the masses because this project is going to take forever. And it really is not so bad at all. Benjamin's over here cleaning up a little bit of dirt. Did you throw some dirt in here last night? Yeah, you're doing a good job getting it cleaned up though, bud. Good sweeping skills there. It's kind of difficult, huh? Because it all has to go out this little hole. Look at that. Good job, buddy. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go through, pop all of these under the soil, and then I'm gonna tape the whole thing off. I have the other one kind of taped off so that nobody either drives the tractor on accident in here or walks in here too much. All right guys, all done. Well, almost all done. We have 8,000 bulbs planted so far. I held back 1,000 bulbs to go around the cut garden shed, and then of course in front of the trees to kind of bridge that little gap. I didn't want there to be an empty spot with no color, but it's just gonna be fun to see how it all comes out. I did tape off the rest of this section just so that we can eliminate as much traffic as possible. I'm going to water these all in, so I'm gonna set some sprinklers in here just to give them a good drink, and that's pretty much it. And we did have it on the schedule to get the sprinkler installation done in the orchard this fall, but it's getting a little bit later. It's been nice though, so it could still happen, but I'm kind of thinking it's gonna be spring, which is totally fine. So we'll seed the grass this next spring, and I think I already explained it's a grass that gets like 12 to 16 inches tall, and it stays green through the whole season. It doesn't brown out if you irrigate it. So we'll have our sprinkler system in place to do that. And then I just wanna let it grow to its full height and just look really pretty and soft and mow paths through it. We'll probably do a full mowing of the whole orchard a couple of times a season just to keep everything in check and looking really nice and not really flopped over or anything, but it shouldn't do that just because it's a naturally shorter grass. It's called RTF fescue, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we do that. So maybe we can put a picture of all the different kinds of bulbs we just planted on the screen so you can see the color scheme. Of course, they're not going to all be blooming at the same time. They'll start early in the season and go all the way till the end of the season in the spring, which is going to be really beautiful to have a huge color show out here for an extended amount of time. But I do expect a little bit of overlap. And then after that, I'll probably toss some seeds for like chamomile in here, some of those just really soft, sweet little flowers. It's just going to be such a fun area just to experiment with. I want to do this in maybe a couple other sections out in the south garden, not huge areas, but just like little pockets of natural. I think that's a really, really beautiful look. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. That's it for bulb installation number 1, day number 1. Well, it's actually day number 2. The next installation will be out in the south garden. We've got some gorgeous daffodils and tulips I'm excited to get in the ground. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so excited to show you in the spring. I'm excited to see what it looks like in the spring. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.